So the DJI Mini 3 Pro. This thing is a little pocket rocket, mate. 4K 60, under 250 grams, tri-directional sensors, 34-minute flight time, vertical shooting, like, come on, mate. Anyway, this video is sponsored by Storyblocks, so thanks to them. But let me take you back to my Iceland video. DJI sent me the new Mini 3 Pro to create a bit of a launch video. Very kind of them. I've never actually done anything with DJI like officially, so very happy about that. I'm a big fan of DJI. I've had like all their drones pretty much. And to actually get one sent to me pre-release was very cool. So I've got to like give my gratifications and that. Anyway, let's talk about this drone. So when I first got this drone, I was a bit like, it's a bit small. I'm used to shooting on Mavics. I've never ever used any of the Minis. I've never actually seen a Mini. I've never actually held a Mini, and I've definitely never flown a Mini. And I flew this Mini, and I was well impressed, mate. I didn't honestly think that this thing was going to perform well. It's so light, it's so small, and taking it to Iceland was quite a risk. We're going heavy on the backups on this trip, aren't we?
We are.
Why is that, mate?
In case you crash it.
Obviously, Iceland's weather is catastrophic at the best of times. Super windy, super rainy. And I was thinking, mate, this thing's so small, it's so light. If it's super windy, is it going to get like blown away to Antarctica? Is it going to even be able to like return to home when it gets super windy? And I actually flew this thing in the rain as well. Shouldn't have done it, didn't mean to. It was out, it started raining, I brung it back and I was like, no, it's actually all right. And we've also got vertical shooting on this little bad boy. It can literally just, you know, do a little 90 degree of the camera. Instead of us having to like crop in on our 16:9 frames, we can actually now utilize all of that 48 megapixel sensor, shoot a really nice wide vertical frame instead of, you know, only being limited to like the height of our frames on our original sensors. So that's absolutely brilliant, especially for those of you that like your reels and that. This is the drone, mate. The drone does actually come with like a gimbal cover. Had a bit of an issue with the gimbal cover. The gimbal cover just absolutely launched down there. And I'm not gonna lie, I ain't gonna get it. Yeah, there was no way I was going down there, mate. Now, we haven't got that 10-bit color that we get in like the Mavic 2 Pro and the Air 2S and also the Mavic 3. But we do have 150 megabits a second recording, which gives us a really nice image quality. I didn't get to use the Dji Mini like. I only had the normal mode, which is like super punchy, super contrasty, super saturated. When I went to Iceland, the full firmware weren't out yet. But now it's got 4K 60. It's also got Dji Mini like, which I didn't get to use, annoyingly. But I just made sure that I exposed some of my highlights and didn't, you know, clip any of my highlights at all. I did also bodge a load of NDs on the front of this thing. I'm not going to lie, I did. I took like NDs from the Mini 2 and I like cut them all up, stuck a load of like blue tack on the front of this thing and made it work with like 180 degree shutter rule so that we've got loads of nice motion blur. If you look on the front of this lens, the little lens hood actually clips off. So that tells me that a third party or DJI are going to come out with some lovely NDs that we can stick on this thing, because you lot know me and I don't like cranking my shutter speed. I'd rather do something in my hands and clap. I really like that slow shutter, really nice natural motion blur. And obviously to get that, I had to stick on ND so that I could reduce the amount of light coming into the camera. And we cannot forget this absolutely stunning new controller. I don't think this comes with the original package. I think you've got to like have an upgrade to get this particular controller, but feels incredible. That screen is great. You don't need to use a phone. We've got a slot for micro SD cards. You can also have a host viewing. Obviously, you just charge up the controller via the USB-C. Damn, it's good. No issues with the range whatsoever. I did lose a little bit of signal when I did like lose my visual line of sight for a split second. Did return to home, great, and had absolutely no issues there. It feels good in the hand. I rate this heavily. It means that you don't have to connect your phone up anymore and worry about the charge on your phone and all that kind of stuff. You're literally all in one unit. That's great. The only downside I can say is like it's a little bit big, like for your bag. Like it is basically the size of the drone. It's a very, very big controller, but I'm a huge fan, and obviously you can use this controller on like different drones. So that is probably a pretty good investment, not gonna lie. Just to get the controller itself, and if you've got a few different drones, for those of you that are lucky enough like myself, I'm super grateful. Going down a rabbit hole here. Love the controller, the little, you know, little handles go in the back here, so keeps it nice and neat when you're traveling. Battery life, we get 34 minutes on paper. Battery life on one of these little bad boys, I was getting, I'd say, anywhere between like 28 minutes and 30 minutes. Usually on paper, the 34 minutes ain't like that's like the paper amount, like where they just hover it, but I was literally zipping it about sport mode, the full works, mate. And one of my favourite things about this drone, yeah, is when you get the fly more combo. Oh, you stick your batteries in this little pod, mate. And all you've got to do is stick in a USB-C. We don't need these big like bricks anymore, like cable into the wall, brick, then little docking system, all your batteries connected. No, whack it in here. It's a really nice little case to keep them like tidy and safe, whatever. And yeah, just plug in a USB-C, mate. Like that is it. That is your 3 batteries and its charger right there. I'm a big fan, mate. Do you want to know what else I'm a big fan of? Storyblocks. So if you don't know Storyblocks, Storyblocks is a huge library of online video and online stock assets. They've got over 1 million different assets that you can download and use completely royalty free, whether you're a solo shooter, a wedding videographer, a big media house. Storyblocks have got a subscription plan for any kind of needs. They've also got After Effects templates, Premiere Pro templates, overlays, the full works, mate. Storyblocks also hire creators from marginalised backgrounds so that they can earn royalties from their footage, which I'm a massive fan of. So if you think you can benefit from one of their really affordable subscriptions, check out the first link in my description so that you can go and check out Storyblocks. Anyway, back to something that really done my head in. One thing that did actually really annoy me about this drone, and it's the SD card slot, right? And unless you're like Cruella de Vil with like the longest nails possible, it is like, for me, super, super hard to get the SD card in and out. They could have just made that a bit easier. Getting the SD card in and out of this thing is a nightmare. I had to use my credit card to like push it in and out. And one time was pushing it in and bam, just span off and like went far, mate. It went far. So I'm not massively keen on my SD cards doing a leapfrog, mate. I'd rather just keep them nice and safe in the drone or in my hand. And every time I try to put it in or get it out, it does a little. However, every other aspect of this drone is insanely good. We've got sensors on the back, on the front and below. I would genuinely consider taking this drone on a trip over my Mavic 2 Pro. That is literally all I need. That little setup right there, nothing else, and obviously just a USB cable. I feel like it's the most ideal like beginner's drone. Image quality is banging. We got decent like 4K 60. I personally don't ever really use higher frame rates on drones. I prefer to keep it 24, 25 frames a second. Nice amount of motion blur in there. I'm very much looking forward to when them NDs come out. That's going to be a big win. You've got really high quality videos, 48 megapixel stills. You can shoot vertically for Instagram or whatever you want to shoot vertically for. Great battery life. Really light, under 250 grams. You're not going to get in trouble with any legal stuff. In some countries, obviously. Beautiful controller, really good battery packs and everything. The product's great. It's a great bloody product. I'm struggling to think of like reasons that I don't like this drone. If I do come up with any that I don't like, I will be sure to let you know in the comments. I'll even comment on my own video. Anyway, people, thanks so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video and had a little bit of an enjoyment of like the flying bit at the start, because I like talking and that, but I don't like it as much as flying and doing the old cinema. I love that. And as always, people, I'll be catching you lots in the next one, mate. BOSH!